What's up everyone, Shirley here, and today we're going to be looking at my rank 1 Arms Warrior parse for Mythic Dimensius. Right away on the rip here, I'm playing a standard single target build for Slayer, except I also have Wrecking Throw for this fight, just for a little bit of extra damage later on, but right here on the pull, I'm going to be coming in with Sweeping Strikes, immediately into Roar cooldowns, Blade Storming all the adds, grabbing the gravity mass thing, and coming over here to the middle for the first stack. Everything happens really fast off the pull, of course. And then we're going to be moving out from the initial tank slam off to the right side here is where I'm going to be. Going to position myself to where I can charge the boss every time this comes out. And then we're going to be putting up Rend on that mass, and then spreading out all the way to the corner here to my soak spot. And then charging back this living mass with Sweeping Strikes up to put Colossus on it and the boss, of course. And if you can actually clip this living mass below the 35%, you will get the bonus haste from in for the kills. So, it's not like a huge priority, but it's a nice bonus if you can clip it there doing that. Or alternatively, if you have it back up before you even need to spread out, you could go ahead and, Sweeping Strikes and get it on that ad. But I do generally try to get it on the ad and the boss every time I can. And then we're going to be moving out once again for the next one, the next knockback, and doing the same thing here. I basically got 2 globals, 3 maybe, I can get on this living mass before these drops go out, and then I'm going to be leaping over to the middle of the room and dropping that really fast, charging back to this ad, and cleaving it down. And then right here, as soon as my Blade Storm comes up, I'm just sending it. Unfortunately, I do get the gravity debuff, so I'm just spinning in range as long as possible there before I have to move out to the spot here. When you do get that during this phase, you can use Wrecking Throw, for that free global while you're at range there. It's a little bit extra damage if you want to min-max like I was here for that. And then we're going to gate to the middle of the room for that soak puddle thing. And, jump back here from the knockback, charging the ad, or the boss rather, cleaving the ad, moving for our next drop. And it's videos like these that I should probably pause at certain points, but we're just going to rile through this one today. We're going to back up here and soak this. I can never remember the names of these things. The big circle in the back as we execute down Dimensius and cleave the ad. And a lot of times we're going to have to hold damage here. You can see the little timer at the top of the screen there. It's counting down. We want to push right when that hits 0 here, or roughly. So we got that. That's pretty good. 5.7 mil for the end of first phase. Definitely had a lot of pulls that we, could be over 6 million for that. It just kind of depends on mechanics and what you get there. But we're going to do the mounted phase right here, flying through the rings real fast. We're just hitting our Whirling Surge immediately, avoiding the rock wall. And then I'm going to be skipping this ring and just flying down towards the asteroid here to grab this one. And then it's underneath the beam and a straight shot to the first platform here. And this is why the primary reason I'm taking Wrecking Throw is as soon as you hit the ground here, you can Wrecking Throw these guys, the 2 mini-bosses, because they've got a shield on them, and that's going to, do a ton of bonus damage, about 10 million each. And we want to do that immediately, like first global, otherwise the orbs that people grab and bring in are going to break that shield, and you're not going to have time, even for like 1 global. So just opening up with that, and then we're going to, unfortunately, get the line mechanic there, but we're still able to cleave all the ads when they get pulled in, and that's when I'm going to be using my Avatar and Blade Storm right there, along with my Roar. So we aren't going to send them immediately on Artosian like you would early on in progress, or at least that's what I was doing, because we're not going to get everything lined up, because we're pushing the boss so fast at this point that we're not gonna get another one before the burn phase. So I'm gonna wait a little bit to send that Blade Storm on all those ads there and get that damage going. And then we're gonna go into the next flight phase. We're going to just walk off the edge of the platform and surge, and then grab that first ring there, and then skip this one down below, and we can fly straight across and then back up here. And yeah, you can just copy the flight phase. It's pretty quick. There's probably a little bit of optimization we could make there. But once again, as soon as I hit the ground, I'm going to use that Wrecking Throw. And anytime you also get a sudden death proc, like coming off those flight phases, you really want to use that right away just to make sure you don't lose your Blade Storm buff, because if you don't have the 3 stacks going into these ad burns, that's a lot of wasted damage. Right here, we're going to bait the orb spawns when they come out, and then rotate around and cleave all these things down. And this is where I'm going to be using my Blade Storm. Also, I'm going to be using Die by the Sword there and Spell Reflect because I really want to get into that puddle to, hit all these things and also work our way across the room here. Right here, when the wall adds up, I'm typically going to be letting my raid kill that, and I'm just going to be focusing Pargath and executing as much as I possibly can because I want my Bladestorm to be back up for the next set of ads right here. And if you're not just tunnel visioning him down, you're not going to have Bladestorm back for each of these ad sets, so that's the idea behind that. When they all do get grouped up here, I also threw my Thunderous Roar there. We were doing that on Prog just for, we needed the extra ad damage, basically. Now you could probably just hold it for the burn phase, but I was still using it there just, out of habit's sake, basically. But also, when we push him here and we're fighting the winds back, I'm just spamming Whirlwinds, as you can see, just burning off my Rage Bar, because I really want my Bladestorm to come back again, as fast as possible for the damage amp phase that's coming up here. So we're going to hit the ground with about 30 seconds-ish, so provided I get at least a proc or two, I should have it up for the tail end of this amp. We got an execute right away, so that's really nice. This is where we're going to use our potion, of course, trinkets, cooldowns, and I get my Bladestorm back during this window, and we can even sneak in a empowered Mortal Strike off that execute. And now we're entering the final phase of the fight, where the Planetfall comes in here. I'm going to be using my Spell Reflects and our Darkness and everything just to help mitigate this. Not parry, as long as we've got healing cooldowns going for this, so I want to save that for a little bit. We're just going to pan my camera up a little bit so I can see where these planets are falling, or the rings come out, whatever they're called, each time here. I'm going to move off to the left, and then we're just going to kind of chill after we touch the second one right here. And then we're going to mark a position in the room and get ready to do the hide thing here. So I'm off all the way on the left side for my group. I'm going to be using my Spell Reflect in each of these as they come up, and then this big pole comes in, and this is where we're going to be using my parry, and then I get the melee one, so I'm going to let it drag me out and just stand here and not move with that. And then we're going to slowly rotate back around to the left side here to the second planet, as you can see as it's rotating, because we're baiting out where we want these rings to spawn. This next set's going to be off to the right here, so we're going to move over here and then continue along to the right side, stopping briefly. And this is going to naturally put us by the fourth planet in line here. And we're going to make the L shape around this here. I'm going to stack off into the side there where the melee one is. And then we're going to get our next set of CDs baiting around the second planet once again as it rotates around the room here. And yeah, it's just execute burn now. We get the next rings coming down off the right, so I'm going to be moving over there, throwing up reflect. You can delay that slightly so you can catch both rings with that reflect, probably, if you were, really watching the timer on it. But yeah, we're naturally around the fourth planet here once again, and this pull-in is the one where we just don't move. So you really want to, use parry here if you've got it, and just trust that you're going to live. And now we're getting the last hide phase, and I'm going to dip in at 1 second remaining, and down goes Dimensius. This was a pretty clean pull for us, so we didn't even have to do the last set of the soaks and, getting drug around even more. So yeah, really fast rattling off everything. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. Yeah, there's Arms' rank 1 for Dimensius so far anyway. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.